I apologize for my naked face. That being said, if there is a show that I should look like a little boy for the review for, it would be Stranger Things. Now, keep in mind, I did not watch Stranger Things when it came out. I did not watch it when season 2 came out. I did not watch it when season 3 came out. This is one of those shows like people be like, "Oh, well, did you watch Stranger Things? You watch Stranger Things?" I went on for years not watching Stranger Things. People would just try to spoil it, and I'd be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," and they'd be like, "You haven't watched it. You're not gonna watch it." Well, guess what? Sometimes you just need time. I found the time. I finally watched Stranger Things, and here I am to talk about it. Don't ever spoil shit until I tell you you can spoil it. So, Stranger Things is about a group of youngsters. It's the 80s. There's a bunch of 80s stuff. This was like the 80s boom time. Like Netflix golden era, I felt like ended with Stranger Things type of way, and it was right also at the cusp of the 80s, uh, like when everyone was jacking off to things from the 80s for a while there, and they still are. They always will probably, but it's that era. A bunch of youngsters, and they happen across a young girl named Eleven, and she has mythical powers. Mythical powers of getting a nosebleed whenever she wants, and sometimes things move around her when she does that. And so that's a very interesting story, but it's really about having like an ET adventure with these kids. It feels like a Steven Spielberg film. It feels like a Stephen King book. And it really takes so much 80s inspired, like every single frame of the show feels like it was ripped from an 80s, or every single plot line. It's so 80s. It's basically if Super 8 was a TV show. And that's a good thing. It's a good show. I think it might have been overhyped. Like I can't imagine myself watching this like right when it came out and actually feeling like it was satisfactory compared to all the hype. Because people are hyping this shit up, man. And I'm glad I didn't get too overhyped because I don't know if I would have had a much darker review. I would have came out here swinging. But as it stands, I did really like it though. I did. All the kids are super enjoyable. They actually talk like kids. They're cursing. They have personalities. The token black kid is a little underdeveloped, but the no teeth kid Dustin, they're all really good. And then you have that really interesting bully arc with the it's basically like a love triangle, but with like guys with interesting haircuts, or like one really like that kid's hair, man, it's everywhere. And then Mike Byers haircut and his Will's haircut. There's so many 80s haircuts in here. It's hard to keep track of them all, man. And you have Joyce Byers, who's supposed to be like the crazy mom, and no one believes her. And I don't know if it was a good thing to kind of like reinforce, like, hey, always give crazy people a chance, but that's kind of what happens. But in this case, she's right. She actually can communicate with her son through the walls and the lights, and there's a lot of ways to access the upside down, man. It's bonkers, but that's a whole other aspect to the show is the upside down and uncovering the mystery, and you're seeing it from the outsider's perspective. You're seeing it from like a bird's eye, and you can see all the characters. You can put the pieces together faster than the characters can. And once characters start dying, that's when like things actually start getting more intense. This one guy takes a bullet to the head out of nowhere. I felt really bad about that part. Like that felt like a good old family diner. I know something about those places, and just it turning into this gruesome death scene. Ugh. And then there's 11. I don't think I like 11 nearly as much as everyone else seems to. She seems really like underbaked. Her personality is pretty one dimensional. She says barely anything. Her facial features when she's doing the like extra forehead gang. Yeah, that's kind of cringe. Um, Other than that, though, I am interested, like, to see where her powers go and exactly what she can do and like what it means for the rest of the show. Because I I have not seen season 2 or 3 yet, by the way, as the time of this review, but I know she's alive. She's on the goddamn cover of both the next season's posters. So, yeah, she's alive, and I'm interested to see where all the future plot lines go. Obviously, something going on with Will. I also want to talk about the villain a little bit. I think this is one of those things where I don't want to have seen the villain when I did, because I I feel like this happens every time, and it happened in Super 8 too, where and movies like The Quiet Place, Bird Box, where it's all these very, very similar monsters, and they all kind of have like this same CGI, just humanoid, but like with no face or like weird limbs, and they all kind of look the same to me. And in all these films, they're super spooky, or they have a lot of cool stuff going on, and I do want to see, like, I gotta know, what do they look like? But when we finally look at the creatures, they all just seem uninteresting, or they don't really have anything beyond their design. I just want to see a crazy ass design. And I feel like I'm getting the same thing over and over again. It's a monster. You can do anything with it. And they just have this kind of shallow, a Demigorgon. It has a cool name, but yeah, it doesn't look anything spectacular. I'm forgetting his name, but my favorite character was the cop. Everything about him was enjoyable. You were with him on that case, man, step by step, as he was just getting unhinged. Not one nook and cranny would not be looked at. But that's Stranger Things. I understand why this show is so popular. I do. There's some things I don't vibe with. Like, I don't like how the references are treated. They're treated like these like really cool Easter eggs. Like, oh, you said a Star Wars reference. Whoa. And it just feels like it's trying too hard on that aspect. I do think it's a little too similar to films like E.T. at times. And other than that, it kind of feels like it could have just been a movie. Like, when I saw Super 8, I wasn't like, yeah, let's get like a 6-7 hour version of this, man. I think it's a story that can be pretty self-contained. But what they did happen to expand upon was very interesting. It just wasn't like the most interesting thing that I've ever seen. That being said, I'm going to give Stranger Things 1 an 8 out of 10. I will let you know when I watch the later seasons, and hopefully they are as good as the first. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time with that, I leave you.